Hello everyone, my name is Beth and this is my Flosstube channel where I film my intro 20 times. I've filmed this intro so many times and I keep having a technical issue or I stumble over what I'm trying to say. My camera has gone out of focus like 8 different times. So I'm gonna try to make this the last time I film this intro. Anyway, welcome to my channel. Thanks so much for hanging out. If you are returning to my channel, you will notice that the wall behind me is much more interesting than it has been. I have some new stuff hung up in my office because I worked really hard at cleaning it, and now I actually have like space. And this is a room that I want to spend time in and hang out in, and it's actually functional now, which is great. So I recorded some vlog footage of me like doing the extreme clean out of this room, and I haven't watched it back, so I don't know if it's gonna be interesting for anybody else, but if it is, or if I think it will be, I will edit it together and post that because yeah, I had actually a lot of fun doing it. Cool. Am I still in focus? I'm still in focus. This is a miracle. I just want to point out a couple of things on my walls. I have stuff over there that I'll show in the vlog that I filmed. But behind me, you can see the Celestina Warbeck poster that I showed in my last video. I now have that framed, and I think it looks amazing. Then over on this side, I've got 2 original paintings by my wonderful best friend Denise, who I talk about all the time on this channel. And so I'm super happy to have some Harry Potter goodness up there, and it's definitely cheering me up. Okay, one other thing before we talk about stitching, I want to do a quick disclaimer. If you are like an IRL friend or family watching this video, if you are not one of my cross stitch friends watching this video, first of all, thank you for supporting my channel and being interested in things that I love. But also please stop watching because from this video to the end of the year, I'm going to be showing gifts that I'm working on, and I don't really want to hold off on showing all of those because it's going to be the majority of the stitching that I'm doing in the next few months. So I think the easiest thing would just be to say thank you for watching, thank you for supporting me, please catch up with me again at the end of the year. And I mean, proceed at your own risk, right? If you don't care about being spoiled, feel free to continue to watch, but that's no fun, is it? Being spoiled. Okay, so now we can jump into FFOs because I have more than one to show you, which is super exciting. Okay, so in the process of cleaning out my office, I uncovered from a big pile of stuff my sewing machine, which I got for my birthday and have not really set up yet until now. And so I decided that I was going to do some practice stitching before I desperately needed to be like sewing a gift or something. So I pulled out a small that I had stitched that I wasn't like super attached to, so that in case I messed it up, it would be okay. And so I finished up this little guy. This is the Australian benefit chart from Fiddlesticks AU, and I stitched this up in like January or February of this year, and I turned it into a little pillow. So you can see that I'm not like perfect at it. You can see my stitches along the side just a little bit. And it's not like, it's a little bit wonky, but I don't think it's too bad. And I'm really proud of closing up the bottom after I sewed it and stuffed it. After I flipped it and stuffed it, then I sewed up the bottom by hand, and I'm pretty proud of that. So, yeah, this is the first sewn FFO I've ever done, and I'm pretty proud of it. So it will definitely not be the last sewn FFO. I'm definitely wanting to practice and get better at doing that, and hopefully FFOing for myself as we go forward, because I like paying other people to FFO for me, but some things just don't deserve spending the money on it, things like this. And sometimes I also have a time constraint. So being able to FFO things on my own is a great skill that I want to keep practicing. Even though it's not my favorite, I definitely prefer the stitching more than I do the FFO. I enjoyed working on that pillow way more than I've enjoyed doing my own framing. So I think that's something that I want to keep practicing. Oh, I don't have the other one here to show you. I was looking for it, and then I realized that I've already given it away. Before I move on to that, just in case anyone's curious, I stitched this on a piece of Picture This Plus Whimsy in 18 count. And the backing fabric I just got from Joann's. So the next FFO I have to show you is going to have to be a picture, which I will insert here. This is When There Were Nine by Julie from Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World. She has a design name as well, but I can't remember what it is. But I will link to this chart down below. This was a freebie that she released. I think she was asking people to donate to a cause related to Ruth Bader Ginsburg and her work in getting this free chart. But I stitched this up as a gift for a friend, and I enjoyed doing it. It was a challenge for sure. Doing the collar part was not easy, but Julie put some tips on her Instagram for how to do it, and that was super, super helpful. I want to share with you another tip as well that I used. But I stitched this. I do have something to show you. I'm out of focus again, but that's okay because I'm going to show you something. Come on, please focus. There we go. I think that's as in focus as I'm going to get. So I am stitching this for a second time, and so I'll show you what that looks like here. I'm just doing this both times I've done it. I've done it in Blanc on this black 32 count linen. And something that I did to help me, I'm not going to show the whole pattern, but I'll show a little bit. So using this on my iPad, I have marked how far away the stitches are from each other. So Julie recommends stitching it each diagonal all going one way, and then each diagonal all going the other way. So I made some marks for myself how far away each stitch was to each other, so that my counting would be just counting and not also reading the chart at the same time, because some of those are big jumps from each other. So if you're wanting to stitch this chart but struggling, I suggest using that because it was super, super helpful. And I've had it again for stitching it a second time, and I'm super thankful for that as I'm stitching it again. I don't know if you can tell, I made a little mistake somewhere. So these two lines are supposed to be level with each other, and they aren't. I'm not going to fix it. I don't think anyone would notice. And even if they did, I don't think they'd see it as a mistake, so I'm just going to leave it. That's a gift that I'm stitching for my mom for her birthday, and I've got some really fun trim that I'm going to use. I'm going to stitch that into a pillow. For my other friend, I just framed it. And honestly, I did a super lazy frame for that one. Because this fabric is so see-through, I literally got some black poster board, cut that to size, and then I cut my fabric exactly to size. I didn't lace it. And I took the glass from the frame and put it behind the black poster board. So it was like fabric exposed through the frame, then black poster board, then the glass. And then the frame was like the back just like slid in. And so it was so secure in there, it's not going to move around. And hopefully my friend just doesn't open it and see how lazy I was framing it. But anyway, so for my mom, I'm going to do a pillow, which is a little bit stressful because she is very good at sewing and has a ton of practice throughout her life. And so I know that what I'm able to do is not nearly as nice as what she is able to do. But I hope that she will enjoy it all the same and enjoy the efforts that I put in and still love it, even if it's not perfect. So that's what I'm going to be doing in the next couple of weeks, is finishing up that project and FFOing it for her. Next, let's move on to my finishes that have not been FFO'd. Okay, before I show you my finishes, I just want to show you that the straw in my smoothie matches my nails. And that's super fun. Okay. The first finish I have to show you here today, let me move my phone so it stops buzzing in your ear, is this one. This is Ruth Bader Ginsburg from Cloud's Factory series of Fabulous Women in History. And I was pretty close to a finish on this. I started this in Mania. And then when Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away, which was horribly devastating to me, that night I decided to pull this out and finish it. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. I stitched this on lavender Lugana 32 count, and I stitched it on the purple because the cover image of this chart showed it in purple, and I really like how it turned out. So I have this fabric to stitch 2 more of these. I'm gonna do, let's see, I have Grace Hopper, and I am also going to do Ada Lovelace. So got those ready to go whenever I want to start them. So I'm going to hold off on FFOing this until all 3 of those are done, because I probably will want to have them either framed all together or framed all the same way. Okay, my next finish is this trans lightning bolt, and this is designed by Abby Topknot, and you can find this on her Instagram and her stories. She has like a permanent story with this chart in it, and this was a super fast stitch. I just stitched it with fabric I had in my stash, this is like a more accurate representation of the color. It's Picture This Plus Echo, and it's like 16 count, I think. I got this fabric for Hildy's Brew, and I have now stitched multiple things on this fabric, and I still have a ton more, and I love this fabric. I absolutely love this color. It's completely perfect. I can't wait to stitch lots more on this fabric. I'm gonna FFO this and give it to friends of mine for the holidays, and I don't know exactly how I'm gonna FFO it yet, but I saw some like velvet finishing fabric made by Lady Dot Creates that was like a really pretty matching like dusky rose color. And so I think I might get that. Okay, next finish is this. So I didn't post about this anywhere when I was working on it. This is a start and a finish as well. This is, what is it called? I wrote it down. It's called A Winter's Walk, designed by Deborah Page, and I got it out of the Ultimate Cross Stitch Christmas magazine, 2018. And there's a set of 4 of them, and I think they're designed to be like oval greeting cards. There's 2 vertical and 2 horizontal ones. And I was thinking I was going to stitch both vertical ones and do them back to back and create an ornament out of them. But I stitched this one, and after I stitched it, I was like, no, I'm good. I really like how it turned out, but this is full of fractional stitches, full of back stitch. I did not want to do another one. I stitched this for the Show Me retreat because round 2 of meeting in person, we were supposed to do a smalls exchange with the theme of winter. So I stitched this for that, and now that has been canceled. So that's a bummer. So I'm probably just gonna FFO that for myself, or I don't know. Who knows? Another thing I want to mention about this. In the magazine, first of all, I had to make a copy of this so that I could highlight, because the pieces of this that are nearly full coverage were a huge pain with all the fractionals and everything to read it out of the magazine. So that wasn't a big deal. But in the magazine, it said that this was a project recommended for beginners. I'm out of focus again. I'll just show you this while my camera figures itself out. That it was suggested for beginners, that it was suggested to be stitched on Aida, and that it would take 8 to 10 hours to finish. This is not a beginner project. Nothing with fractionals and backstitch is a beginner project. I'm sorry. It's just not. Then, and not only is it backstitch, it's like 4 colors of backstitch. Also, not that you can't stitch fractionals on Aida, but I don't recommend it. Wouldn't be like my suggested fabric. And then as a more experienced stitcher, this took me 12 hours. So, just in the words of Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Don't believe everything you read, dear.
That was a deep cut. Okay. My last finish I have to show you is a gift for my boyfriend for Christmas, and he is in his office that we share a wall. So I don't know if he's listening. So I'm just going to show you, and I'm not really going to say anything about it other than we both really like this, and I'm looking forward to having this in our house. I stitched this on a piece of Patriot's Brew 32 count linen from R&R. I got this from Fire Poppies, and I stitched it in Gentle Art Espresso Bean because it's just a nice brown, but also he's a big coffee lover. So I just thought that was amusing. This was designed by Samwise Simple Stitch on Etsy. Oops. So that's what it looks like. I have tons more fabric of this. I really enjoyed this fabric. Tons more to stitch something else. I feel good that I'm starting to get some gifts out of the way because, I mean, I still feel kind of rushed. Like, I feel like there's more to do than I have time for, but it feels better than waiting until the beginning of December to start working on them. Okay, so those are all of my finishes. Now let's move on to starts. Okay, one of my starts was a gift. And even with the disclaimer I made, I still can't show it. But I will show you the fabric and the threads that I'm using. There's one more. Where'd it go? Okay, well, one of the threads from this is missing, which is great. I keep this in this gorgeous bag from Judy Starkey. And this is, woo, great. This is the fabric. It's even brighter than it's showing on camera. It's 28 count lime Joblin. I don't know who the dyer of this is. Oh my gosh, I'm so sad that it's not showing you how bright it is. It's gorgeous. I just dropped my red thread. There's 4 colors on this project. There's like a pale yellow that's missing, and then we've got purple, orange, and red. And this is just a super fun, bright color stitch, and I'm having a blast. Okay. Next, we have a very, very, very special project. As many of you know, I have been wanting to start Huckleberry Farm by the Blue Flower for almost 6 months. I wanted to stitch it immediately when I saw it. I was so excited about it. I immediately purchased it and started trying to kit it up. And I had a hard time. This was, March, but right as the pandemic was starting. And I put in an order for fabric, the called for fabric. And so that was, I think I put in that order beginning of April. And by the end of June, I decided that there was no way that order was ever coming. And I canceled it. And then I was placing another fabric order and saw that they had some. So I purchased it, and that shop said that it was going to take 8 to 10 weeks to fulfill fabric orders. Well, it's been 13 or 14 weeks at this point. And that order, I've been told by the shop owner that I can't cancel it. But I was losing hope. I was losing hope. And I was like, well, this isn't happening for 2020, which is really sad because I'm seeing other people stitch on this and really wanting to. So I was like, well, I'm not feeling confident about this fabric ever coming. So I decided to place an order with Color and Cotton, and I just picked out something that I thought would be nice. And of course, Color and Cotton lead time for fabric is quite long as well. I don't think it's as long as 10 weeks, but I'm not sure. And that was only a couple weeks ago, and it still hasn't come. Obviously, it still hasn't come. That I'm not upset about. It's not been enough time. So I had given up hope for having the called for fabric, even though I loved how it looked in the model. And I was waiting for this Color and Cotton fabric now. When Athena from Stitching with Friends messaged me on Instagram and said, hey, what was that fabric you needed again for Huckleberry Farm? And I told her. It's 36 count shale by Picture This Plus. And she goes, well, I found some. Would you like it? like you found some like in a store? She sent me a picture. She's like, yeah, I'm in a store and I found some. Do you want it? And the piece that they had in the store was huge. It was like twice the size of what I needed, and they wouldn't cut it. And so it was like over $50 for a piece of fabric. And I was like, yeah, I think I do want it. And then she's like, oh, and by the way, they will cut it, actually. They said they will. It's like, yes. So she bought it for me, and which is funny because I just placed an order for her. We combined our orders on something recently. So she paid me and then I paid her right back. But so she sent me this fabric. Within a couple of days I had it and started it on video chat with her and some other stitchers, and this is what I have started. So as I mentioned on Instagram, this fabric is notoriously poor in photographs. Like, it just doesn't show up the way that it looks in person. This looks so gray in my viewfinder, at least. And in person, this fabric is much more of like a dusky, purpley taupe color. But it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. I didn't show the cover photo of Huckleberry Farm, but I feel like everybody knows what this looks like. And I've got my bear needle minder by Laura from Stitching with Friends, and she's a Flying Frog Stitchery on Etsy. And I love everything about this. I'm stitching this 1/2 on 36 count, and as my friends pointed out to me, Picture This Plus can tend to be a bit of a tighter weave, so I'm not having any problems with the coverage on 36 count with one strand. So I'm relieved about that. I was a little bit worried. When I reordered this fabric at the second place I ordered from, I ordered 40 count instead, because after my first order, I was starting to get worried that I wouldn't like the 36 count. But I really like it. I can't say enough good things about this chart and about this project. I love everything about it. I want to stitch on this all day. I love it. And just a huge shout out to Athena for finding that fabric for me and getting it to me so quickly. Thank you so much. So much. Okay, let's move on to whips. I think I only have one other project to show you, and that is my Frankenstein style by Stitching Book Club. And I am caught up. The first 3 parts have been released, and here's what they look like. So all that's left on this is that this border is going to be filled in. And that's going to be released, I think, at the end of the month. So I'm really looking forward to having this done. I have enjoyed staying caught up on this project. I'm really just having a blast stitching it. I'm having a blast reading it. I'm slightly behind on the reading, but not by a lot. I only have a few pages left of part 2 and then part 3 left to read. I'm stitching this on a piece of Ship's Manor 32 count linen. This was an orphan color, so I don't think you can get this anymore or ever. I don't know. I don't know how their orphans work. Are they just like extras from Fabric of the Month, or are they like oops fabrics, or I don't know. But I am in love with this. I think it looks so good. You can see there's some green modeling, and some of the green trends a little bit blue. And I am stitching this with DMC 934. And I honestly could not be happier with it. Could not be happier. And I think, I keep this in my Dinosaur Love You More sleeve. I think Stitching Book Club's next book is going to be Christmas Carol, which is my favorite classic by far. I read it every single year for Christmas, so I would be reading it regardless. But I am so excited to see what she comes up with for that design. I will absolutely be stitching it. We have now made it to the haul part of the program, which, let's face it, is the majority of most of my videos. Let's talk about charts first. I did a lot of chart purchasing because I was collecting things for what I was going to stitch for gifts. I got, so this one's not a gift. This one will be a stitch for me. I got RBG in Memoriam. This is designed by Clay Edwards for Stitch Life magazine. And I think I got this for free off of their Facebook group. If I can figure out where I got it, I'll post it below. It's kind of big, but really pretty and monochromatic, so it'll go quick. And I'm looking forward to stitching this one, but because I've done a lot of RBG stitching in the last few weeks, I think I'm going to let this one sit in my stash for a little bit. Next, I shopped at Happy Sloth, which is an Etsy shop I have gotten multiple things from in the past and really enjoyed their patterns. I got a couple of gifts there and then a couple of things just for me. Actually, only one gift. I think they were having a sale where if you bought 3 patterns, it was like the whole order was a certain % off. So I went there to buy this pattern. This is of Catherine Janeway from Star Trek Voyager, and I bought this to do as a baby gift for a friend of mine who just had a baby, who is a big fan of Star Trek and particularly of Captain Janeway. And she just had a baby girl, so I think that this is a super fitting chart. It is larger than I would usually do for a gift like this, but it doesn't have very many colors, and it's got lots of blocks of color, so I think this will be a really quick stitch. I have some fabric ordered for that from Color and Cotton, but I don't know how long it'll take to get here. So while I was there, I then searched around and found a couple of other things that I wanted. So again, we have a Ruth Bader Ginsburg chart. Women belong where decisions are made. I really love this quote, and I like the way that Happy Sloth laid it out. So I went ahead and got that one. And then we have the Picard facepalm, which is one of my favorite moments of Star Trek, memes of the internet. I just love it. So I went ahead and treated myself to that one as well. Okay, next we have Potted Flowers by Xandra Stitch, which is amusing to me that it's called that because there are no flowers in this chart. They have a lot of variations on plants in these designs and colors in these designs. So if you like this but don't like exactly the plants that are in it, check them out anyway because they have lots of options. And I have this kitted up on a piece of Picture This Plus Nessie in 32 count Lugana. That was just in my stash. So that's what I'm going to do. This will be a gift for a friend of mine for Christmas. Next, we have Neurotransmitters by Fandom Cross Stitchery. And this is going to be a gift as well for Christmas. This is for my mom. And I think I'm going to need to play with it a little bit to see, but I think I'm going to do it on this piece of 32 count Sea Lily linen. Yep. I think this is a Witch-Old fabric. I got this from 123 Stitch. Next, I got Stay Afraid from What She Said Stitches. I think this is a quote by Carrie Fisher. And this is not a gift. This is just something that I really, really love this quote. And I think it needs to be for me. Needs to be a good reminder for me. Next, I got Card Coasters by Peppermint Purple. And I love Peppermint Purple. I have a lot of their charts already and have many more on my wish list. And I like doing smaller things as gifts because they are more attainable for me. So this will make a really good gift for my boyfriend's family. I don't know if we'll be able to spend Christmas with them this year because of the pandemic, but either way, I think I'm going to make this for them. And I'm just going to do that on a piece of white even weave that I have in my stash. Next, we have... Sorry, I hope you can't hear that. I'm crinkling this in my lap. Let me take it out. Next we have Muskoka Morning. I don't know if I said that right. I think that's a place in Canada. I don't know. This is designed by the Pigeon Coop, and the Pigeon Coop, I think they're a newer designer, but they are doing some really beautiful designs, like small manageable designs, but a lot of them are either full coverage or have like a decent coverage. This piece, the water is intended to be not stitched, which I think is really cool. And I'm stitching this for my brother for Christmas. He loves the lake even more than I do, and has thought about living on the lake, and so I think he would really like this. I have some fabric ordered for this as well. Unfortunately, in order for it to fit in a standard hoop, it needs to be stitched on 14 count. So I ordered some 14 count from Color and Cotton that is like a navy color, but has a little bit of modeling in it that I think will be really beautiful as the water. But I don't really love stitching on 14 count. I think I'm going to have to stitch 3 strands on 14 count, which I really don't love. But I think it's worth it for it to fit in a standard size hoop just for the ease of finishing. And it's small, so I can suck it up with the 3 strands. But I don't know when I'm going to get that order from Color and Cotton. I hope I get it in time to stitch it for Christmas. If not, like, he'll understand. I live, only like 10 minutes away from him, so it's not going to be like the biggest deal. I can just give it to him later. But I would really like to have it done for Christmas if I can. Next we have Captain Blackmane. This is by Pedal Pusher, and I saw this at Galleria last year and thought it was really funny, and it reminded me of a friend of mine, and so I decided to get it and stitch it for her. And I already have this kitted up and ready to go. And I'm going to stitch this on Picture This Plus Highland in 18 count Aida. So that's what it looks like. It's a little bit of an unusual color for this particular chart, but I think she'll really enjoy the funkiness of it. And this was the fabric that I started my Arc of the Universe piece on, and then decided I didn't want to do it on Aida, and I haven't ripped it out yet. But I have plenty of fabric, so I could choose to just not rip it out and stitch it over on the other side, or I could use this as a motivator to rip it out so I can use the whole fabric in the future. Okay. Next, I got Singing Parrot by Tiki and Stitch. I think I saw this originally on Park Hopper Bart's Instagram. I could be wrong, but I think that's where I first saw it. And again, it reminded me of a friend of mine. So I'm going to stitch it for her for the holidays. And I picked out a fabric for it from Fire Poppies. This is 32 count Glacier Linen by Picture This Plus. And that's what it looks like. I think it'll be really fun for that pattern. Okay, next I grabbed this chart here by Up to X Stitch. And again, this will be a gift for a friend of mine who works in a lab doing research. And I think, now that I'm looking at this, I feel like this piece of fabric is small, but I think it'll still fit. This is 18 count Jade Ada by Picture This Plus, right? Yes, Picture This Plus. So that'll be really fun. This chart made me laugh, so I'm looking forward to stitching it. And I hope he will appreciate the joke. Next, I got this XMen chart by Pixel and Stitches. And I'm going to do this for my dad for Christmas. My dad is a big fan of comic books, and Cyclops is his favorite. And it's like actually kind of hard to find charts with Cyclops in them because he's not one of the most popular. Like, it's almost always Wolverine and Storm and Professor X. And I just thought this was a cute pattern. I'm not going to stitch all the X-Men. I'm going to stitch probably, I think I'm going to stitch Professor X, Jean Grey, Cyclops, and maybe Wolverine. Just to make it smaller and keep it intimate to the characters that he likes and I like the most. This doesn't have my favorite X-Men on it, but that'll have to be okay. My favorite X-Men is Kitty Pryde. I know you didn't ask, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I don't have fabric picked out for that yet. We're going to cross that bridge when we get to it, I guess. Okay, next. This one, also not a gift. Most of these are gifts, but I do have a few for myself in here. Who was I watching the other day? I've been catching up a lot on Flosstube, and especially while I've been cleaning my office. And I watched someone recently who called their haul section in their video presents to myself. Who was that? Oh, I don't know. I don't know who it was, but it majorly cracked me up. So I think I'm going to call it that. Presents to myself, except some of these are presents to myself to have presents to give to other people. That's okay. But this one is a present to myself. Some of my stitchy friends alerted me to the fact that there is an Owl Forest embroidery sale going on right now with 100 owls. How did I not know about this? Because Owl Forest embroidery is one of my favorites, and owls are my absolute favorite. And these aren't like super cutesy owls, which I don't really love. These are like real looking owls, and it's such a cool pattern. Obviously, it's a mystery sale, so not all of it's out yet, but what I can see of it, I really love. And what I learned from doing the Emerald City sale is that in the future, I really need to be getting the Owl Forest threads for their charts, because it just makes a big enough difference that I was bummed that I didn't do that for Emerald City. I just didn't know at the time. So I've gone ahead and ordered the floss pack for 100 owls. That was the thing Athena also got in on with me. Since we had to order it from Russia, we thought we'd save on the shipping and get it all together. And so I got the pack for stitching it on 40 count. I have not picked out fabric yet, but I'm really looking forward to stitching this. I think I'm going to make myself finish at least one of my other Owl Forest charts first. So it may sit in my stash for a little bit, but I'm okay with that, especially because I'm already quite a bit behind on the sale. So I have no hope of catching up, so it's fine if I start it later. Okay, Next, in chart stash, I got this sleeping dragon pattern. I couldn't find the designer real quick, but I'll definitely include it in the notes. I just couldn't find it before I filmed. This is going to be a gift for a friend. She is a Latin teacher and also a big Harry Potter fan, so I thought this would be a fun stitch to do for her. And again, it's a little bit bigger than I would usually do for a gift, but it's monochrome and has a lot of open space in it, so I think I'll be fine. Okay, now we're back to presents for me. I got Lovely Autumn by Maria Bravko. I saw somebody stitch this on Instagram and I can't remember who it was, but I immediately went out and searched the chart and grabbed it because I super love it. I'm a little bit picky when it comes to autumn charts. Autumn is my favorite season, but I don't really love the like cutesy autumn, and I don't really love I like pumpkins, but I don't really love Halloween. So I'm just picky. And so when I saw this, I was like, oh, this is the autumn that I have been looking for. This is the autumn stitching that I really love. So I did not walk to Etsy and picked that one up. Next, I saw this one shared in a Facebook group and immediately had to track it down. This is Black Horse by Lutien. I hope I said that right. They have a Facebook group with a bunch of freebies in it, and this is one of them. They also have an Etsy shop. And I have a number of friends who love horses, and this is not going to be a gift for this year, but definitely good to have in my stash. And I think it would be really fun. The sort of like sketchy design of it would be a really fun and different thing to stitch. Okay, next, another free pattern I got. This may be a stitch multiple times for me and for gifts. This is Brooks Books Grinch Ornaments, and I love them. I love the Grinch, and I watch the Grinch with my family every year, and so these are going to be really, really fun to stitch. The Grinch is reversible, I think. It's front and back. And then the Max is, I think, just on his own. Finally for charts, not finally for haul, but finally for charts, I got the Just Cross Stitch December issue, and I get that digitally. And there were two charts in here that I really wanted to call out as my favorites. First, I found Give Thanks, and here's what it looks like. This is, again, one of those where I'm like, oh, this is the autumn stitching I've been looking for. As I was scrolling through the magazine, I was like, oh. So I look forward to getting to stitch this one. I don't know that it's going to happen for me for 2020, but really looking forward to having this in my stash. Next, a beautiful Hanukkah chart. I am always so excited when I see anything Hanukkah stitching, but I find that a lot of Hanukkah stitching is like all kind of the same, and that can get boring. And I don't want to have all the same things stitched multiple times. Like, that's not fun for me. And so I really only get things when they feel like some intentionality was used in designing it. It wasn't just slapping a menorah up there and done. And this chart, I really feel like has that intentionality. It is beautiful. It's well thought out, and I can't wait to stitch it. So thank you so much to the designer for designing that. I don't have their name in front of me, but maybe I'll put it here on the screen to thank them. Thank you for making Hanukkah a larger part of the cross stitch community, because it's often forgotten, and that makes me sad. Even though I also celebrate Christmas, I just get more excited about seeing the Hanukkah stuff because it's just, there isn't very much of it. Okay, moving on to fabric. I have a lot of fabric to show you. I already showed you some of it with the kitting up of charts that I bought, but I have even more to show you. So first, we have something I have been working on kitting up for a really long time. This is Our Hearts by Brenda Gervais, and I didn't pull my physical copy to show you, but I'll put a picture here of what it will look like. And I have all of the threads ready to go for it. I've been wanting to start this for a while. And I knew that this was going to be a good opportunity to try some color and cotton 40 count because I've been loving 40 count and really I just wanted to try some color and cotton 40 count. And so I emailed the shop and I said, hey, would you recommend a fabric that you have that would go with this? And it's okay if you need to dye it and I'll wait for it, no big deal. And they said, actually, we have one all ready to go that I think would be good. So they suggested vanilla, excuse me. They suggested vanilla in 40 count, and that's what it looks like. And so those are the threads. And I know this like light tan yellow color is really close to the color of the fabric, but I looked at the chart and it's only like inside of darker stitching, so I'm not worried about that at all. I just love the like luscious, like rusty oranges and greens of this chart. So thank you so much to Angela and your team for picking that out for me and getting it sent to me pretty quickly. And that's, I don't think that'll be a 2020 start for me, but that'll be a soon start. I'm really looking forward to starting that. Okay. Next in fabric. Guys, I went fabric shopping. Okay. Sorry for all the crinkle. I've got bags here to sort of organize what I have. I got all of these because when I was kitting things for gifts, it's so hard to do that over the internet because when things come, they just don't look the same as they looked when you ordered, like when you looked at them on the internet. So, you know, I thought I had these organized. Oh, I guess I did. Anyway, so I bought like a bunch of options for different things and then didn't end up picking them. I also just used the opportunity of buying fabric to buy some things that I liked for later. So I think this is all my 1, 2, 3 stitch order. I got a piece of 32 count vintage cotton candy from, this is linen, from Lakeside Linen. So whenever I see Lakeside Linen available and it's a color I like, I buy it because I like Lakeside Linen and it's really, really hard to find. I don't know if that's just a States thing or if it's really hard to find everywhere, but this is a pretty bright pink, but I'm sure I will find something fun to do with that. Next, I got a 40 count Dwarf Newcastle by Picture This Plus. That's a pretty, like, not quite denim, but it's like a medium blue color. Got pretty modeling in it. And for 40 count, this is a pretty big piece. Then we've got a 30 count light blue Lugana. This is just sort of a generic color. This reminds me of the color of fabric that Stitch and Mommy likes to use. It's maybe a little bit darker, but this just seemed like a good stash piece of fabric. Then we've got a 32 count Murmur Lugana. This is a Picture This Plus. This is not nearly as pink as I thought it was going to be. It's much more peach, which I don't super prefer, but it's fine. Then we've got 32 count lavender Lugana. This is the same fabric as the fabric I'm doing my Women in History on. It's a much bigger piece, but I just really like it. And I think having a purple fabric that's like versatile and could be used for a lot of things is good to have in my stash. Purple can be tricky as fabric, but this is a good versatile one and would go with a lot of things. Next we have 32 count Azure Blue Lugana. And I just like the color. And finally we have 32 count Navy Belfast. This one is what I thought I was going to use for my brother's lake piece. And then when I realized it had to be 40 count or 28 count, I realized I couldn't use this. I had a hard time. I was looking for Ada, and I had a hard time finding navy Ada that wasn't 14 count because it's not what I would pick ever. And then when I realized it had to be 14 count, I realized I was dumb. And so instead of going out and buying just a regular navy 14 count piece of Ada, I was already making my order on Color and Cotton, and I saw what they had, and so I decided to go with that instead. Okay, next, the rest of these pieces of fabric are from Fire Poppies, which is a fantastic shop, by the way. Highly recommend. So these are all, I think, 32 count linen. We have Sage by Color and Cotton. This is a stunning color. Stunning color. Then we have Camelot by Color and Cotton. It is showing up really like generic gray here, but it is like, it's got almost like a bluish greenish tint to it. It's super pretty. Then we've got Bark, again, by Color and Cotton. Now, here's where I'm a little dumb, because I had trouble finding Vintage Country Mocha, and so when I saw it from Fire Poppies, I just was like, oh, cool. Then I realized that this is, Vintage Country Mocha is a color made by a bunch of different companies, and this is the Witchelt one, which is not what I wanted, but I mean, it's fine fabric. It's just not what I was looking for. Then we have another Witchelt Laurel. This is like a nice like olive color. It's not quite as gray as it's showing on camera. It's much more of like a deeper olive green. And I think I need to stop buying Witchelt fabric because it's so stiff and it's very see-through. Not the biggest fan. Then we've got London Fog by Under the Sea. This is a really pretty light gray color. Love, love, love. And again, Witchelt, I think maybe Fire Poppies doesn't show who the maker is of their fabric when you buy it. I could be wrong. Or maybe I just don't know where to look for it on their website. But again, another Witchelt that I'm really disappointed by the texture of this fabric. But this is Touch of Pink by Witchels. And even folded over, you can still see through it. So, like, super sheer. And as you can see, stands up on its own. Last of the 32 count linen, we have Beach Brew by R&R. And I'm out of focus. Okay. Next, what are these? These are hair count linens, I think. Yeah. So, again, with the me being dumb, this is Vintage Country Mocha in 36 count by Witchelt. This isn't quite as stiff as the other ones, though, which I like. Then we've got 40 Count Up in the Attic by Fox and Rabbit. And I really love this fabric. This is so, so pretty. Okay, moving on to Ada. I got just some plain 16 count black Ada, which is just always good to have in my stash. Then we've got Misty or Antique Blue in 16 count Ada by Witchelt. This is just a really pretty dusky blue. And finally we have Lugana. I'm running out of white Lugana in my stash, so I just got some more. This is 32 count. I think all of this is 32 count. Yep. Then again, we've got another 32 count vintage country mocha. This one is by Yarn Tree. Looks totally different than the other ones. Also not what I was looking for. Then I got this lime. Oh, that's totally washing out. This is shockingly bright. This is 32 count lime Lugana from Witchelt. This is like the color of my smoothie. And it's not showing up like that. I got this for the other bright green piece that I showed you earlier in my whips. I got this maybe as an option for that, and I liked the more modeled one better. The other one is not quite as shocking as this color. It's still pretty shocking, but it's not quite as shocking as this color. But like this would make a great Halloween piece or even like a spring piece. So not mad that I have it in my stash. Okay, that was all the fabric. Let's move on to floss. The first thing I have to show you is DMC came out with a new metallic. This is supposed to be a huge improvement on their DMC light effects. It's called Diamant. And I just got one to try from Michaels. You can get it from Michaels or Joann's, I think. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I think it's worse than Krynic, which I don't love Krynic, but I think it's like similar to Krynic, but a little bit worse. I had actually heard people liking this, and I don't like it. I stitched with it, maybe 3 stitches with it, and look what the end of my floss did. Maybe in front of my dress you can see. It just like totally frayed. Let me read you from the DMC website. They say that Diamant metallic thread is a smooth, single-strand, non-divisible thread that adds instant shine to any needlecraft project. This soft, tangle-free floss will keep its twist as you stitch, allowing it to glide effortlessly through nearly any fabric. 1 strand is equivalent to 2 strands of DMC stranded cotton embroidery thread. Well, so why does it separate like this if it's non-divisible? Like, I didn't do this on purpose. It just did it while I was stitching. The end of it did it. And I had to yank this through my fabric. It did not want to glide through my fabric at all. I really had to force it. It did not lay very nicely. Couldn't get past 3 stitches. Would not recommend. Okay, next I have 2 rounds of nest egg to show you. By the way, I think so nest egg is run by Trisha from 3 Owl Threads, and the sign-ups are currently closed, but she plans to open back up. They just a lot of floss dyers are really struggling with getting what they need, the supplies that they need during the pandemic, and as a result they're behind, and so I think she just needed to have a break of people signing up for a bit. Anyway, so I've got Harvest Moon, I've got Harvest Basket. I've got Maple Syrup, Liberty, Hibiscus. I like that one a lot. Lexington Green, Loganberry. That's like a really pretty dusky purple. We've got Lemon Drops, which I think I already have. It's a much brighter yellow than it's showing here. It's like a very sunny yellow. Then Fisherman's Wharf. This is a very variegated color. It's like blue to green to brown to gray. It's very pretty though. Then Linen, which is weirdly like a peach. And I get Gentle Art. I think these are 5 yards. Doesn't say, but I think these are 5 yards. Then I got Hyacinth, which I think I already have. Huckleberry, which I think, who was talking about this? I think Laura from Stitching with Friends is using this color in one of her pieces. I could be wrong, but I think she is, and it's really pretty. We've got Lamb's Wool, which is a pretty like warm natural color. Highland Heather, which is like a pink and purple, strongly variegated color. That's interesting. Heirloom Gold, that's very pretty rich color. Island Blue. I probably already have this because this is very much a Beth color. Jasmine. This is a little like more lilac than it's showing here. Kiwi, I know for sure I already have this, but it's very pretty. Grasshopper. And Bluebell. This is like a baby blue. So those were all of my nest egg threads. I believe that's 2 months worth. Then, I think in my 1, 2, 3 stitch order, I just added this because they finally had it back in stock. Or maybe I got this from Fire Poppies. Yeah, I think I got this from Fire Poppies. I've been looking for this for a while and it was out of stock everywhere. I think this came out at Market this year. And this is Classic Colorworks Chesapeake Bay. And I really like the color, but more than that, I'm from Maryland. And so being from near the Chesapeake Bay, I just thought this would be a cool floss for me to have. So I went ahead and got that when I saw that they had it. Next, I just picked up some silk to try for fun. I picked up a Gloriana. This is Schoolhouse Red. It's not quite as fire engine as it's showing. Maybe it's because it's against my more like burgundy color dress, but it is a brighter red. It's very pretty. And I got 2 Floramel, I think is how you say that. Oh, this is also by Gloriana. And I've got a green and a blue. I don't have anything intended for these. These were just fun. And then I got some Splendor silk, and that's like a mustardy yellow color. And then I got from Classic Colorworks, this is Belsois, and this is Cranberry. This almost matches the color of my dress. It's a slightly redder. But this is the color that is called for Gathering Berries by Luminous Fiber Arts, and I really love the color in the model, so I wanted to get the called for that. So ever since Michelle started showing these, I was really excited about them, so I finally got myself a bendy flip. This is from Bags Plus, and I got this off of their Etsy, I believe, and I just love the sunflowers, and I think this will be very practical for me, just having, 12 slots? That's a really practical number for me, and much smaller than the other. I have like a big Bags Plus floss organizer that's like this big and folds over in 2, and I really like it, but I just don't usually need to carry around that much floss. And I really only use these when I'm traveling. Then I got some Love You More sleeves. I got the snails because obviously if you've been watching me for a little bit, you know that snails have become special to those of us who have attended the Black Needle Society retreats lately. So I was really excited when they showed this. This is the small size. Then I got 3 of the big sizes. I got this cute one with bears on it. This is going to be for Huckleberry Farm, which I'm super excited to put that in there. Next we have some planets and space. And then we have constellations and animals of constellations, which is very pretty. Can you tell I like blue? This was totally an accident, but I think it's funny. Next, I got some needle minders from Just So Heavenly, and this is very funny because I ordered one of these when I lived at my old house, and I thought it was gonna come in time before I moved, so I just left the address because, or maybe she'd even already sent it because she's in the UK and it just takes a while for things to get to us here. And then somehow it got returned to her, which I don't understand because, like, I didn't move very far and my neighbors knew where I was going, and so I don't know why they didn't just take it and set it aside for me, but it got sent back to her, which kind of sucked. So rather than like trying to figure out if I was going to ask her to just resend it to me or if I was going to pay for her to resend it to me or what, I just made another order. It's like, can you just put the other one in with it? So this Hogwarts Robes is the one that that got sent back to her. And then my second order was this turtle with the beautiful stone on the back and this really cool white peacock. So I feel like if I ever stitch something Slytherin for a friend, I feel like I'll need to put the white peacock for the Malfoys on it. I think for now probably that'll go on Peacock Keeper. Next, I grabbed some Q-Snap replacement clamps, and I'm not very smart because I got these for my my 11 by 11 size Q-Snap, and it only came with 2 because the way Q-Snaps work is that you can like make them into a rectangle, so they only sell them in sets of 2. So I would have needed to get another one of these to replace all of the clamps on my 11 by 11. No big deal. I'll just buy another set next time I make an order somewhere. It wasn't like an emergency. Next, I got some stretcher bars, and this I was smart enough to know I needed 2 sets of. And I got some thumbtacks, and this will be for my counted canvas project, which I'm hoping to start early next year. Finally, we have made it to, excuse me, I have the hiccups now. Finally, we've made it to pins, which I have a bunch of. Hold please while I organize them for a second. All right, I have a number of pins to show you here. Let's first start with one that I ordered ages ago, and it got lost in the mail, and I wanted to I think the pin was for a donation for Black Lives Matter, and I just left it as a donation, and then I just ordered another one. So there it is, and it is so pretty. Totally worth making a second order to make sure I got it. This is a wreath of black-eyed Susans, which signifies justice and also is the Maryland state flower. Next, I got from Little Boat Boutique, I got this set, which I just think is so cute and funny and makes me laugh. I really like those. Okay. Next, this is going to be a gift for a friend. Same friend that's getting the singing parrot cross stitch. Got her a tiki room pin with a porg on it. She is both a fan of Disney and the tiki room and also Star Wars. So that pin also made me chuckle and had to get it for her. Okay, now we've got my Harry Potter pins coming up. And I'm not going to get into it here. The Harry Potter pin design community is going through it at the moment. It's really bums me out, and I wish that this wasn't happening to them. Long story short, WB is going after them and removing their content and threatening them with IP violations, and they're a huge corporation. They don't need to do that. They're going to be fine. It just sucks. So I have a ton of pins to show you, and I'm going to focus on how awesome these pins are and not like how much of a bummer it is that the community is having to go through this right now. And just so you know, any pins that I share on Instagram or that anybody shares on Instagram, please don't use any Potter hashtags, because that's how WB finds them. So I don't remember what it is. I think it's called, I don't know. I'll put the hashtag on the screen. If you ever have any Harry Potter pins that you'd like to show, please use this hashtag instead of any Harry Potter related hashtags. Okay, so we've got Mad Unicorn. I am a Patreon supporter of them, and so I get a pin every month. And this is the Hermione pin, which is super cool, and I love it. Next, we have from Nimbus Designs a fun spell set. Love this. And it's funny because I thought the umbrella was Imperious for a second. I was like, why is it an umbrella? And then I realized it was impervious. Like, oh, that makes much more sense. Next, from Spew Pins, we've got a Celestina Warbeck pin, Cauldron of Hot Strong Love, and this is the glitter variant. This was limited edition, but it also came with, as a bonus, the original variant, which is like white with pinkish red hearts. And I think this version is still available. Okay, next I have some bigger orders. This one is from co.pins. This is the Room of Requirement Patronus lesson. And very shiny, so it's a little hard to show. This I really wanted this pin, but they were sold out of the higher grade, so I think I got a B or even a C grade pin. I think it was only a B grade, but I can see why I don't prefer to buy lower grade pins. I know for a lot of people it doesn't really matter, but from close up, I can see it. I can see the blemishes and it bothers me. From far away, you really can't see it, and I really love this pin, so I don't regret it. I just probably won't be doing that a lot. Also from them, I got a Ministry of Magic fireplace. And I got a snitch with the Resurrection Stone inside. And then they just came out with a new series of these. And so I got 2 of them. I got the Ford Anglia and Hagrid's motorbike. They have a bunch of these though. Like they have the night bus and a few others as well. Anyway, they're really cool. Next, I ordered from Muggleborn Sisters. This is one of my favorite shops. I got a Skelligro bottle. I got this chocolate frog card that opens, and the frog inside it comes out, which is super cute. Then we've got a Honeydukes trolley. We've got an Every Flavored Beans box that opens up. It says, "Alas, earwax." I got 2 ice cream cones from Florian Fortescue's. I got a rainbow sherbet one and a, this one is Earl Grey and lavender, which is a delicious flavor from the Wizarding World. Then I got a Leaky Cauldron key. I got a pumpkin juice bottle. And their latest one in their series of wizarding locations, I got the Black Lake. And finally, I supported a Kickstarter for the Half-Blood Illustrator, and I got a lot of pins from this series because they're just so cute. I got Troll in the Dungeon. This one I'm going to save for the end because it's my favorite. Next I got My Body's Gone. Super duper cute. I love this one. He's a bloody coward. This one says, "I'm not going home, not really." This one has, this one says, "Anything off the trolley." It has a chocolate frog, Birdie Bots, and sugar quills. This one says, "I would trust Hagrid with my life." And then this one is my complete favorite. P.S. The bird bites. Then I got 2 minis from them as well. I got a troll with a wand up its nose and a cauldron that says "Glory." And these are much smaller, so like if you compare how small they are. And then they sent me some stickers that go with it and a keychain that says Hufflepuff Basement, and underneath it says lower basement located by the kitchens. So that's really cool. Oh, and it also says, "If found, please return to a prefect." So that's really clever, and I like that a lot. They had one for each house. So those are all my pins. Now let's talk about plans. As I mentioned earlier in this video, most of my stitching for the rest of the year is going to be on gifts. I have a list, a large list of gifts that I want to do for the holiday season this year. And so if I don't want to be super stressed and not enjoying myself, I need to be starting now. As you saw, I've already made some progress, and I've done most of the hard work of kitting as well, but now I need to get to work on stitching all the gifts that I have left to stitch. But I don't want to only stitch on gifts. I still want to make progress on my whips, and I have picked out a few whips that I would really, really not like to take into 2021, or things that like are important to me to meet certain goals on before the end of the year. And this isn't everything on my whip go board, so I don't think I'm gonna like do 100% blackout on my whip go board. I don't think that's reasonable with what I have left. So I've picked out a few goals that I'd like to meet. 4 finishes, things that I want to completely finish by the end of this year if I can are Frankenstein. I want to finish my other current stitching book club whip, which is Pride and Prejudice. I'd like to completely finish that. I know my whip go goal was only to finish the border, but I really just would like to start the year fresh on book club. I'd like to finish my flamingo piece, which was my Show Me Retreat Small back when we were gonna have the retreat together originally. Then they changed the theme for the small, so I stitched a new thing, and then that's not happening either. But so my flamingo is really close to done, and I think that it would be, only a day or two worth of stitching to finish it, so I'd really like to do that. Then I have my Owl Forest Emerald City, and that has a little bit to go, but it's maybe 3/4 of the way finished, and I'd just really like to see that done, especially so that I can start another Owl Forest thing next. I just really don't like to have too many things by the same designer going at one time. I think right now I've got 2 stitching book clubs going. I've got 2 Owl Forest going. I have Emerald City and Carrot Forest. And then I have 2 Lindy Stitches. I have Peacock Keeper and I Forget the Rest. But I think those are my only duplicates, and I would like to whip down one of each of those as soon as possible and then continue on the path of not having duplicates by a designer. And then the 2 goals that I'd really like to meet are I'd like to get all the way to the right edge of Harry Potter covers, and I would like to finish that first page of Autumn Quakers. So what I've done is order those in a priority order. So Frankenstein is my first goal because I've been caught up on that this whole way, and I would like to do that with the final part. So whenever that comes out, I'd like to just stitch that and finish it. But that's not even out yet, so I'll defer to my next priority item until that happens. So priority 2 is Harry Potter covers. Getting the first 5 pages of that all the way done would be awesome. Then next is Pride and Prejudice. Getting that finished. It's very possible that even just those 3 goals are the most that I can do. And if so, that's okay. But given that I have more time, then I'd like to have a page finish on Autumn Quakers. Then I'd like to finish Emerald City. And then I'd like to finish Flamingos. So that's the order that I have. I'm not saying I won't work on other things other than those 6. There's maybe 1 or 2 starts that I'd like to do as well before the end of the year, in addition to the gift stitching that I'm doing, but that's sort of my loose plan. The other thing I'm thinking about doing is with my gift stitching, starting each thing on the birthday day of the person that I'm stitching it for. So if I did that, that would give me 2 starts the week of October 19th, 4 starts the week of October 26th, 1 start the week of December 2nd, and 1 start the week of November 2nd, and 1 start the week of November 9th. Then that would give me plenty of time, I hope, to finish out all those things. I don't know if I will stick to this. I've got other plans that may get in the way, like other life plans that may get in the way of that strict of schedule. But it was a thought I had, and I'm gonna try it out and see how it goes. So that's what I've got going on coming up. I think I'll probably start something for Halloween. I'm not much of a Halloween stitcher, but I do have a couple of things in my stash that I could work on, and so I think that might be fun, especially because we can't do anything really that fun for Halloween this year. I think the Black Needle Society is hosting a stitching video chat on Halloween, so I may get on there and start a Halloween thing with that. But yeah, that's all I've got to share with you today. Thanks for sticking with me in this video and hanging out with me. I hope you had a good time, and I hope that you get some fun, relaxing time to stitch soon. And if Halloween's your thing, I hope that you're full on enjoying the Halloween stitching right now. I'm having a good time watching other people do their Halloween stitching because, I mean, I love watching Flosstube to be enabled and to see things that I like to stitch, but I also love watching Flosstube and, you know, seeing people on Instagram that are stitching things that aren't really my thing, because then I get to see pretty things that I didn't have to stitch or put up on my wall. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me, and I will see you in the next video.